Dear friends, it seems I'm online. We are also transmitting. So please put a plus sign so that I see the transmission works fine. Okay, seems it works great. Okay. So hello, partners. Today is the second time we are broadcasting from home. So everyone today is advised to stay home. So we also follow this trend. Let's start this webinar. My name is Dmitry Maximenko. I'm curator of national partner of solargroup in India. Solargroup is a financial company taking care of financing various technological startups and commercial projects. And today we'll talk about our project called Duyunov's Motors. To whom our today's transmission will be interesting. First of all, it will be interesting to those interested in innovations, technologies, and those who are interested to earn on these topics. So Project Motors, Duyunov's Motors itself is a project to present on the worldwide market the technology of combined winding Slavyanka. It allows already today to Russian developer Dmitry Alexandrovich Duyunov to design a new generation electric engines, which are used in a wide range of different sectors. Today, there are many practical applications of this technology. There are customers, patents, and research. We will talk about all of this today. In order to make it possible to develop this business and to fulfill its ambitions, it's necessary to build an innovation center, such an enterprise where it would be possible to design different types of electric engines for different types of clients. And of course, financing is necessary for such an enterprise. This project is being financed by a crowd investing method. It means that each of you, if this topic is interesting for you, could participate in this project by investing in it the affordable amount of money for you. And you could not only support an innovative enterprise in Russia, but eventually also to make profit with it by becoming co-owner of this business. Let's talk about it step by step. Firstly, I will present the project and will not read your questions right now from the chat. But after I've completed presentation, which will take about 40-50 minutes, of course, I will answer all of your questions. So you can already write your questions down. You can write them in our chat, and I will come back to them later from the very first question onwards. Let's now understand about the technology itself, how real it is, where it's applied, and who needs it in general. What is an electric engine? I think you know it already. Even if you haven't seen it, for sure you use on a daily basis products with electric engines inside because they're applied everywhere. It is household equipment which we are used to, different gadgets, industry where various products are made. Maybe you're working at some similar enterprise and you see machines which are working thanks to electric engines, as well as electric transport, which is becoming more and more widespread, also agriculture, military industry, and aviation. So it's easier to mention the sector where electric engines actually are not used. Today, we need to know that most widespread electric engine in the world today is so-called asynchronous or induction electric engine. Actually, 80% of all electric engines today are asynchronous or induction type electric engines. In total, there are 10,000 types of such induction electric engines, starting from the smallest, which you can hold in your hand, to the largest, which will not fit in the room where you're located now. When we talk about the design of this induction electric engine, you can see that there is so-called winding, which is usually executed by one of two methods. It's either star method or a triangle method. Precisely here is the innovation hidden of the Russian developer Dmitry Alexandrovich Duyunov, who managed to apply two types of windings, both a star and triangle, at the same time in one electric engine. Such winding has been named Slavyanka combined winding, and it distinguished electric engines of Dmitry Alexandrovich Duyunov among other companies and other developers who design electric engines today. We need to say that these electric engines are not just a little bit better or just an upgrade, but there are truly new generation electric engines. And I will try to explain to you why it is exactly so. Firstly, we'll talk about specification of these electric engines and why this technology is so popular today and why it's worth applying in general. The thing is that the combined winding electric engines are saving up to 40% of electric energy. They are much more energy saving comparing to what other producers are making today. 40% is a very large number, proven not only by research, but also in real life. Secondly, the cost of production. These electric engines use 30% less copper and electric steel. So with having the same amount of raw materials, we can make 4 electric engines with combined windings instead of just 3 normal electric engines. Today, its reliability is all competing companies have so-called service factor not exceeding 1.5. An electric engine of Dmitry Alexandrovich Duyunov have this service factor of 2.5. It means that the electric engines are almost 2 times more reliable. There are many more various parameters of electric engines that have been improved, and you can access this information freely if it's interesting for you, of course. I will also tell you about one more parameter. It's called energy efficiency of electric engines. Nowadays, mostly the lowest energy efficiency classes are used globally, so-called class IE1 and IE2. Why this is actually a problem? The thing is that by using electric engines everywhere, we need to know that electric engines are the main consumers of electric energy in the world. Not the lighting as many think, but electric engines. And by using more and more electric engines, we have to produce more and more electric energy. Today, the production of electric energy is one of the most outstanding problems for the ecology, because you cannot produce large amounts of electric energy without having harmful effects on our planet. Today, we are already seeing large number of negative changes, such as climate change. Even inhabitants in Russia could feel during this winter that we had no winter at all almost. And many are saying that there is a trend to have more warm weather in the future. Besides that, many know also that water, land, and air are being polluted. And we talk about this so often that it seems it's not important anymore. But in reality, of course, these are very serious problems, and we cannot squeeze all the juice from our ecology for long. That's why, of course, our trend is trend for energy saving, meaning how to make so that electric engines would generate the same amount of useful work while consuming less electric power. That's why today at the government level and at level of many corporations, new rules are being implemented in order not to use such electric engines of the lowest energy efficiency classes, IE1 and IE2, but also to use the highest energy efficiency classes, IE3 and IE4. So electric engines of Dmitry Alexandrovich Duyunov are compliant exactly to these highest classes. That's why today Duyunov's company can give to the world much more than just to earn money on this technology, but to help the planet to survive this crisis, which is unfolding right now. You can say that many developers have these technologies now. And yeah, there are such electric engines now, and they are being developed actively today. But sometimes they are much more expensive than engines made by Dmitry Duyunov. And in order to have same capacity, they are normally larger in size. That's why there are no analogs to what Dmitry Alexandrovich is doing today, talking about this ecological situation. And this is the reason why today so much attention is given to this development. Let's move to argumentation now. Behind the project and my words stand large scientific base. Since the first successful application of this technology back in 1995, a large scientific work has been carried out. This includes more than dozens of patents obtained in field of combined winding. You can find them all on our official website, study and check them in a government registry that indeed there are such patents. As you see, it's quite transparent here. Of course, many research have been carried out too. All of them are also available freely. You can study them, see the graphs, see the results and conclusions from all the researches. Please note that this research have been carried out in various parts of our planet, including Belgorod University in Russia, Düsseldorf University and Bologna University in Europe. And lately, thanks to our partner, Mr. Viktor Aristov, another research has been carried out at Bangkok University in Thailand, where effectiveness of this technology has been also confirmed. Nowadays, it's especially important for us because we are actively entering also the Asian markets. And Mr. Duyunov's developments in the field of electric transport are very relevant here. Of course, you cannot say anything about efficiency if you didn't check it in real life. So team of Dmitry Duyunov understood it. And during the work on combined windings, also a new collaboration began with so-called licensed winding specialists with an ASPP company. This company provided the permit to anyone who had interested and a certain skill set to begin working and earning with this technology of combined winding by offering it to other clients, to their clients. So usually companies dealing with the service and repair of electric engines were interested in this work, and they offered to their clients saying, let's not just apply normal winding, but Slavyanka winding, so you can see the difference and come back with your other electric engines. Such company actually successfully rendered these services and earned money out of it and gave part of their profit to ACE and PP company. It's very important as well because Dmitry Duyunov and his team used their own money to go on with their developments. So it was very important that the team was able to finance itself without turning to outside investors or third parties. This shows the viability of this technology and the team, and that the team can organize commercial activity also besides only scientific and research work. Because the project which we are executing today is a commercial project, and this is quite important too. But I'm talking about this also that you have to understand that these licensed winding specialists have modernized using combined winding tens of thousands actually of various electric engines serving in different sectors. So they proved in real life the efficiency of the technology and the validity of research performed in various labs before. As Dmitry Alexandrovich is saying that these specialists even didn't care so much about this research or scientific research because they applied this technology in real life and saw the results by themselves. And so they didn't need any third-party proofs or confirmations. But of course, in order to bring technology at a new level, this is, so it's spoken of by many people as we are doing also today, it was necessary to prove the efficiency of this technology by showing a specific example, so meaning to produce a final product and with such an engine inside so that one can say that this electric car is more efficient than what other producers are doing because it has engine with Slavyanka. That's why the company took this path exactly, and many prototypes also were created, not only in electric transport sector, but mainly I will speak about electric transport today because it's easier to comprehend and such examples are more interesting to look at. Firstly, I'd like to talk about such development as Dmitry Duyunov's hub motor. Why I'm talking about it in the first place, not because this electric engine is the most important or it will bring most of income, but because it's one of the most popular electric engines and it has objective explanation. The thing is that the electric engine which Duyunov developed in form of a hub motor is the first in the world induction engine executed in the hub motor form. So of course, there are already such electric engines, and Mr. Duyunov was not the first to invent it. In fact, it's already produced in China, but in reality, it's made on different technology, which has series of disadvantages. As this electric engine is produced in China based on so-called BLDC engine, which has constant magnets. And constant magnets have in themselves, in turn, rare earth metals. And rare earth metals is the mineral extracted only in China. And China has the full monopoly in this market of this raw material. And by the way, rare earth metals are not only used in BLDC engines, but also in electronics and other sectors. So this raw material is in short supply and it's highly demanded. And China, as a monopolist player, not only increases every year the price of this raw material, but also prohibited to export this raw material outside of China. That's why for you to produce BLDC type engine, you would need either to launch a new plant in China or buy a ready-made engine from China. You cannot organize any domestic production in this situation. So it means a greater dependency from China and for many economies and for many sectors. Today, in light of current events with the virus also, we see that this dependency on any particular country can hit very hard on the economy of any other different country when such country as China is on lockdown and plants stopped operation. For example, till now in Russia, you cannot buy a lot of things because the whole industries depend on the situation which happened in China. Even if you don't take this into consideration, still today China cannot satisfy the demand for this raw material completely because it's very expensive to explore new deposits, and all deposits give only a certain amount of raw materials. That's why there is a kind of a dead road, and many producers are becoming more and more interested in development of Dmitry Alexandrovich Duyunov because it doesn't have these disadvantages, and in his electric engines, only copper and electric steel are used, which are widespread materials, and you can buy in large quantities from various different sources cheaply and organize your domestic production with indefinite batches of such electric engines. This is quite relevant today as all Asia is using two-wheel transport, notwithstanding that you can, of course, supply hub motors in electric cars, but they need it especially for electric bikes and electric bicycles. And Mr. Duyunov can provide them with this product. His engine is suitable for this. And moreover, not only this engine is much cheaper and more affordable, but also it's much more reliable than those made in China because it's induction engine, and induction engines are most reliable in the world. Besides being cheap and reliable, it's also extremely powerful, and it was proven many times in real life. If you take hub motor made in China and compare it with Duinov's hub motor with similar dimensions and weight, you will say that Chinese-made hub motor will have maximum power output of 2 or 3 kilowatts, while Duinov's hub motor has power output of up to 20 kilowatts. And I'm only talking about hub motor for electric bicycle here. In fact, there is a whole range of hub motors, including hub motors for electric bicycles, hub motor for electric scooter, and hub motor for electric car. Many have heard of electric car Zeta. The first version of hub motors installed in this electric car was designed specially by Duinov's team. That's why his technology and his hub motors are suitable also for four-wheel transport. This is very, very important because it opens up a huge market, practically indefinite, only for one engine. And I will remind you that Dmitry Duinov can design an engine for practically any use. So besides electric car with hub motors, also electric cars were modernized with a more classical engine with combined windings, such as Renault Twizy electric car and Renault Kangoo. These are quite interesting prototypes with combined winding electric engines. So also electric engines were installed in public transport, for example, a trolleybus. By the way, trolleybus became not only the more power efficient, but more dynamic than trolleybus without combined winding electric engine. An interesting experiment was carried out when a combined winding electric engine was installed on an electric locomotive, which carries loads in a mine. Well, before such modernization, it only pulled 5 load cars, full load cars. After modernization, it pulled 11 full load cars. Power has more than doubled. This is a very serious indicator achieved thanks to the combined winding technology. Of course, many more prototypes were created, and I have only covered just some of them. It's not possible about everything in just one webinar, but on a frequently asked question, which can be heard when talking about these prototypes, yes, everything's great, but where can I buy it? Well, you can buy combined winding engines too. So at this moment, available for sale are the 4 types of electric engines with combined winding. These 4 types of electric engines you can buy now. They are produced in China and designed for electric transport. You can either buy electric engine together with controller and install in your vehicle, or buy a ready-made bike or electric car with such an electric engine. You're welcome to test the Slavyanka technology in real life. Well, I've described the technology part. Before we are over with the technology part, I'd like to stress that this work has been underway for a very long time. As I've told, in 1995 was the first successful operation. And from that moment, a great amount of work has been completed by Dmitry Alexandrovich Duinov and his team. And from the first patents obtained, continuing with research to practical application to mass production, all this was completed independently using company's own funds. Company has been engaged in commercial activity, as I've described a bit earlier. All this helped to promote technology, and all the team worked to make it possible. At a certain moment, it became clear that the technology did not require further development or experiments or examinations. And now it's at a market-ready point. Even today, Dmitry Duinov is telling that there are ideas how to improve the technology, which is completely normal, because it's not the best way to stand still and do nothing, of course. And there are already ideas how to make the technology even better and more efficient. But the moment has arrived when it became clear that it's possible and necessary to implement it in real life, implement it for the market. So moreover, there are many customers who came to Dmitry Duinov telling that they need a specific electric engine and asked him to produce it. Dmitry Alexandrovich replied that, yes, of course I can produce it, but I don't have production capacities and I don't have equipment, I don't have staff, and I don't have a team which can operate with such a large scale business. That's why how the idea of creating innovative center came about. The center would be able to design different electric engines according to customers' needs for different objectives and different application areas, and would be able to generate income by leading commercial activity based on its innovations. Of course, the first idea is always approach a major investor, but it wasn't possible to make such a deal. It was not possible not because no one wanted to provide funds. The funds were not actually an issue, but the funds were not offered on the conditions when it would have been reasonable to accept them. Because when such projects are only on startup phase, and there are not many material resources. Large investment funds, usually banks, they take up to 70%, 80%, 90% sometimes, leaving the initial developers on the level of top managers with a limited amount of shares, basically with no decision-making powers. Substantially, it means that selling your technology, selling the company, and everything you have been working for years. And Dmitry Duyunov did not accept such conditions, and they were offers to realize this project abroad also, but out of considerations of security and a range of ideological reasons, it was decided to stay in Russia and continue implementing this project in Russia. Not all the developers are like Dmitry Duyunov, of course, and many have left Russia and many have sold their developments. And later we are surprised that why we are buying something from abroad that had been developed years ago on Russian or Soviet patents. After the collapse of USSR, only from Russia, around 1 million people left the country who were also engineers and scientists, because probably the conditions offered abroad are better than conditions offered in Russia. Since that, you can say that Dmitry Alexandrovich is a hero, you can say, in direct sense of this word, because he had stayed and kept his developments, and he managed to carry on with his innovations with his own money, starting from 90s, continuing to 2000s, and just now he's also staying afloat, of course. And moreover, standing firmly on his feet and earning on his innovations. There are only a dozen of such persons in the whole world, not only in Russia. In Russia, such persons are very valuable as they can create something and maintain this business based not only on extracting and selling energy resources. This was exactly how idea emerged to raise funds with other method, more common outside of Russia. This method of fundraising is only being actually introduced in Russia. I think in 5 or 10 years, all investors will use crowd investing in one form or another to make up their portfolio. Because it's very promising direction, very real, understandable, and simple, even for beginners. So it was decided to raise funds with crowd investing. When funds are coming from one major investor, but from not only from one major investor, but from indefinite number of small and medium investors. It means that every person who is watching this webinar can invest an affordable amount in order to create innovative center, which I will talk a bit later, and not only to support this cause, which kept Dmitry Duyunov engaged all these years, not only to support innovations in Russia, but also to obtain a portion and to obtain a share in this business and become co-owner of this innovative center for development of electric engines. So let's move now to financial part. Let me start by explaining what the funds are being raised for and what an innovation center is in general. Innovative center is also referred to as engineering center or construction bureau. For many, it will be clear, I think, to say construction bureau is an enterprise which is actually not a plant. Its goal is not to produce electric engines with objective just to sell it in the market. So this center is not a plant, it's an enterprise taking care of development of electric engines with application of combined winding technology. The center will be named Sovelmash, just after the company's name, and the same company executing this project is also Sovelmash. Its activity can be demonstrated as follows. For example, a company dealing with electric transport, for example, gets into contact with our innovative center or Dmitry Duyunov directly and tells, for instance, that we want to produce an electric car, and for our electric car, we need an electric engine with certain characteristics, certain dimensions. Dmitry Alexandrovich designs such electric engine, develops it, issues an initial batch of such engines in order to draw a technical process on serial production of such engines and transfers this documentation to a customer. Customer, using his own production capacities or third-party contractors, produces these electric engines and either sells or uses internally for his own purpose. It's actually a very, very promising business because even if Dmitry Duyunov only developed electric engines, this would already have been a great and profitable business. But considering that Sovelmash is going to develop new generation electric engines with application of combined winding technology Slavyanka, those customers who will receive such an engine first will be immediately ahead of the market, ahead of the competition, because their product, which is the engine in this case, will be much more efficient compared to what other producers are making. Moreover, Dmitry Duyunov will charge the same amount of money to develop an electric engine as the competitors. So it would make no sense to avoid Sovelmash when developing a new engine. All businesses are working like that nowadays, and individual pieces of a final product are sourced from different third-party developers. Even companies like BMW, Mercedes are not producing their own gearbox. Instead, it's produced by ZF company for them because it specializes exactly on gearboxes. And company Apple, for example, doesn't produce their own screens, and it's outsourced to Samsung, which is the best in the market. So it makes no sense to create their own construction bureau for Apple and produce screens there, while there is already a company which is simply you cannot beat. So even though these two companies, Samsung and Apple, are competitors, iPhone uses Samsung as a contractor for its screens. And it's the same everywhere now. So that's why this is direction taken by Solarmash. It's very promising indeed, and you cannot imagine that your electric transport trend will not be valid anymore after some time, or a law will be passed. In any case, you can switch easily and develop electric engines for household equipment. There are no objective reason to suggest that you can miss the market with this type of activity, as this business is really universal. Talking about money, the average market price of such a development of just one such electric engine is roughly on average $50 million. Of course, the price of development can be less, can be 10, 20, or $30 million, or even $100 million. It depends on the how complex is the development. But on average, it's $50 million, and this value is considered an average value, which was accounted in the business plan and taken into account. And Solarmash can execute from 3 to 5 such orders to develop electric engines. So this roughly gives you an idea about turnover of the company later. While margin can be as high as 70% of the order amount. So you can imagine this is really profitable and very relevant business nowadays. Electric engines is not something that has just appeared, of course. They have been introduced everywhere and everyone needs them. If you check how market of electric engines is growing from the point when project had just started, and by the time it's over, when Solarmash will have already been constructed, the quantity of electric engines and therefore the demand will be increased by 30%. So the market has even grown even more from the moment of start of the project till it's over. That's why this direction is rapidly developing. And a question which probably many are anticipating from the start of the webinar: what will I get from it? Why am I here? The technology is great, and what am I doing here on this webinar, and why I need to listen to this? The thing is that every one of you can participate, as I've mentioned, and you can not only donate money to this cause, of course, but become a co-owner of the business described earlier. In order to do this, we have prepared back office and necessary legal framework, and you can invest in this project. Investments start from $50 and not a big amount at all, because this is a collective funding. There can be tens of thousands of investors. At this moment, there are more than 30,000 investors who invested into this project, and you can become one of them. If you invest, you get investment shares, meaning a share in our project, which is confirmed by an investment agreement as an attachment to this to the agreement with the company. Each attachment confirms that specific investment activity which you do. You buy shares, or you withdraw shares or transfer it to anyone. Also, you will get a share certificate where a quantity of shares will be indicated. Quantity of share depend on the amount of your investment at the time when you requested this certificate. What do you do with these investment shares? The thing is that after the project is over, so when necessary funding has been raised, when Solarmash construction will have been completed, Solarmash company will be reorganized from limited liability company into a joint stock company. In this moment, all shareholders will be able to exchange their investment shares with shares issued by Solarmash joint stock company. Therefore, you will become a stock owner and the co-owner of the enterprise, which we are all creating by holding shares of this enterprise. I think it's easier for you to explain what to do with stock shares than with the investment shares. There are two ways to earn profit from shares: is to sell at a higher price compared to your purchase price, and to receive dividends. Talking about selling at a higher price, many are considering this strategy, and it's quite right, Today, you can purchase investment shares at a price much lower than its nominal value. This is due to the fact that, of course, while fundraising is still underway, the project still has its risks. So you need to understand this. And in order to compensate to investors their risks, we are providing a discount for investment shares which you're purchasing. Therefore, after having purchased investment shares with discount, you will be able to sell them at a higher market price and have a speculative, let's say, profit. In order for you to be able to sell your stock shares, Solmarsh company plans to conduct an IPO, an initial public offering, in which process you're, as a shareholder, at that future moment, will be able to sell your shares on the stock exchange and get a profit on your investments. Of course, no one forces you to sell your shares, and you can sell even a portion or not to sell anything at all. This is your private property, so you can manage it as you please, and maybe you can present it as a gift, or you can transfer it to someone else or just to hold it. It's up to you, of course. And you can sell it later, maybe in 30 years. So long-term investment is a possible and a good option too. Of course, no one will tell you today how much Solmarsh share will be worth in 30 years time, yeah? But we can look at some examples of other companies which started out in a similar ways some time ago. Some of them were also startups. Some other were at the beginning of their path. Similarly, someone believed in them, someone invested in them, and someone did not. Of course, those who believed at the time that personal computer will be in big demand and that internet, for example, will be everywhere, invested in stocks or invested in company Google and Apple. Back at the time, it was not obvious at all that that will happen, like it's obvious for all of you right now. Now that they are very wealthy people indeed who invested in the stock of these companies a long time ago. And I only take the most, just the most prominent cases. Of course, there are plenty of such companies, and absolutely all companies at the start of the activity raise funds from one form or another. Someone rejects them because, while others provide funds and receive profit later. So it's very important here to see this opportunity and see the chance that is given to you. Of course, today, great number of companies and projects offer to invest in them, but out of all this variety, you need to see and select the offer which is really worth it, and the one having something real behind, not only just promises, plans, and so on, not only a big, let's say, beautiful picture. And of course, if you choose to keep your stock share, you will receive the right to receive dividends on your stock. Dividends will be substantial. 50% of all profit which will be distributed on dividends will be paid to all investors of the project. And of course, the objective here is to receive passive income on your investments. Passive income is one of investment strategies, while firstly you're working to build your capital, and then your capital starts paying you back. I've started saying that something needs to be behind the project, and someone might have thought, what's behind your project and what have you done to date? In reality, we have some real accomplishments which behind which we can share. During the time of fundraising, I want to indicate that approximately 250,000 participants from 116 countries have registered in the back office of our project. This is a very large number of people who are come from all over the world who support Duinov's Motors project. Thanks to this support, we could accomplish the first goal, which is the creation of the very innovative center we spoke about on a small scale and on the rented premises. This production capacities allows us to work on the technology and work on the project and to complete all the preparation work before the moment when the innovative center will be constructed, where we can perform our work on full scale. Of course, I'm talking about the laboratory which has been created and where the work is performed on combined winding technology. I would like to stress that this laboratory is fully certified, and the results provided by this laboratory are recognized all over the world today. That's why it's not just some equipment that we purchased. Secondly, apart from the laboratory, we have already a testing area and where we produce electric engine with combined winding in the form of initial batch and pilot batch. And after that, we are taking all measurements with help of our test bench equipment in order to certify our engines, to prepare them for the following sales, and to demonstrate the results of the technology to our potential customers. We are simply taking our engine and engine of our competitor and show the difference. This helps a lot today. That's why we have a large number of preliminary agreements, pre-orders, let's say, already signed to develop a certain electric engine. That's why we cannot say that Sovelmash will actually search for its first customers, because they're already there. The primary objective now is to secure Sovelmash long-term activity with the pre-orders for years to come already today. And the team is working very hard on this process now. Of course, there are many more other areas. I will not talk in details about all of them. You can find information about these areas in open sources as well. Much work has been already done. So thanks to the laboratory, not only general industrial electric engines had been developed, but also engines for hand power tools and so on. Other work is underway too, such as procurement of new patents, development of a new controller, as well as work with customers and suppliers, as I've mentioned earlier. It's all important for us at the current stage. But of course, main work is the construction of innovative center, where we also have quite impressive results. The construction will take place not just on any land plot out there, but on the territory of the special economic area, Technopolis Moscow, located close to Moscow city, not far from Zelenograd. This is a government special economic area, and in order to become its resident, you need to pass through a rigorous selection, submit your application, and such application was submitted by us. It was accepted, and in February 2019, we became the residents of the special economic area, Technopolis Moscow. And I'd like to mention that this is one of the most serious special economic areas in the country, and it's very hard actually to get there. We got there thanks to support of the government of Moscow and Ministry of Economic Development. The project was distinguished at a very high level, thanks to which we obtained a resident status now. Why we need it in general? We need it not only to obtain a free land plot for construction, although it helped a lot also to develop our project and save funds which we otherwise would have been required to raise in order to buy this land plot. But also as residents, we receive serious tax advantages and preferences to save on transport tax, income tax, and so on, which helps businesses in early stages, because it needs, of course, time to stand up on its feet and get momentum. In this way, government helps our economy to develop. Also, all necessary infrastructure is present in this area, such as railways, transport connection, as well as human capital. Technopolis Moscow is collaborating with a large number of institutes, so you can hire good specialists to work for you. Today, the work to prepare for such start of construction is actually over. We signed the rent agreement for the land plot, selected a general contractor, which is company Block from Czech Republic, after which we installed the passport of the object, the fence around the object, and various archaeological and hydro researches have been conducted on the land plot. And in order to get construction permit, firstly, you need to pass what I've just mentioned. After that, you also need to pass so-called government inspection, during which the relevant authorities have to issue a special permit to a certain company to build a certain object. And now this inspection is underway for our company. As soon as our project is approved and after necessary preparations, we will commence the construction. When will it happen? We hope it will happen in the nearest future, in a week, maybe a month. Hopefully. I cannot announce the precise date right now, as the situation is still unclear with the virus, and of course it has its impact on the speed of overseeing authorities and all other government bodies, as well as other parties. So I hope the situation in the world will be stabilized very fast and will not move the planned construction timeline. Dmitry Duyunov will announce himself should there be any obstacles due to these events. So far, I don't have such information. We hope everything will be good still. But again, even if it's moved forward for some time, I think it won't be critical, because after 5 years, no one will remember that we started the construction in April or we started it in May or in summer, as it won't be important. The main thing is to start the construction, as many are expecting this, and the team is doing everything they can to commence this project process. If we talk about investments in general, investments are very important for every person's life. You can see today even the situation unfolding around us in the world right now. For those people who don't have any savings, especially for those people who lost their job today or who have less income right now, the situation if the situation isn't stabilized in a short time, a question can emerge: how can I feed myself and my family? And namely, investments also in situations like that can help people to overcome such challenges. That's why you need always to have savings. it's necessary to invest. It's necessary to increase your financial literacy. It's you can invest in different directions, and of course, also among others, Induinov's Motors is one of flagships in the market of crowd investing. And crowd investing is, in its turn, is one of the fastest growing directions in the world. Moreover, crowd investing in general, particularly in our project, allows you to start investing from $50. So even if you never invested, it can become your first step, first milestone into investment world in general. That's why, of course, you need to use it. You don't need to think that, okay, once I will have $1 million or several $1 million and then I'll start being an investor. No, it doesn't work like that. Even if you ask a successful person, do you invest? Of course, he will tell you, yes, I invest. Because people are becoming wealthy precisely as they start investing, start to manage their money with more sense and not just spend all the money that they have immediately. I assure you that in this case, even if you have a salary of $10,000 or $100,000 or even $1 million, you would spend it. You would spend everything in 1 or 2 months if you just don't plan further. And finally, you will have nothing left. And you will be surprised, where did it all go? I had so much money. And this is a result of financial illiteracy. That's why, friends, increase your financial literacy, study the project Induinov's Motors, ask your questions now, and I will reply all of them. And if you're watching this later, please please know that you can join our chat for investors and chat for partners. You'll always have your question answered and be supported by the support team. You can write or call the technical support, where you will be also given answers to all of your questions. This is for the presentation part. I will move to the questions now. But just before we move to questions, I will once again touch upon the situation which we have in the world right now. We covered this a little bit. Some say that the new financial crisis is looming on the horizon and that we don't know when the virus will back away. And if it backs away, this will be closer to summer, maybe in the best case scenario. And in any case, all this will negatively impact both of the economy and the life of a specific individual. So friends, you need to remember that whatever it is, just saying that everything's bad will only bring problems. That's why in any situation, you need firstly to accept the situation, to understand that we are in a certain reality which we cannot change right now. But the only thing we can do is to adapt to these changes. A human is actually a very tenacious creature, and we always adapt to realities which surrounds us. Why I'm talking about it? The first question is, of course, what to do with savings, what to do with the money, especially if you have just small amount of money. Of course, if you have considerable savings, enough to buy apartment or real estate or land plot, you can do that. At least you will have, no matter what will happen, you will have it with this economy. But if you just have $1,000, $2,000 or $5,000, what can you do with it? Of course, in the crisis, you always need to transfer money to real assets, to something that even after the crisis will stay. Even after, if you invest in it and buy it, and the price, even if it goes down after the crisis, it will always rebound in case there is something real behind what you bought. If there are, of course, not just simple story tales behind it or just someone's promises or good pictures. If there is some intellectual property, if there are people behind it, if there is material property behind it, in this case, you will not only save your money in the future in time of crisis, but also you will multiply it with time. And of course, among other things, Induinov's Motors project is a kind of defensive asset, because there is not only my webinar behind this project, not only announcements which we issue, but great team stands behind it, and Dmitry Alexandrovich Induinov stands behind it with great number of specialists which work for the good of technology, for the whole project. Large scientific base stands behind it with large number of patents, research, and so on. Today, intellectual property is largely more important than material property. And we do have material property like that too. It's workbenches, it's equipment, we have the laboratory. Now it will also be construction, so modern equipment will be purchased, which always have its value. And in the end of the day, it's the business itself. In spite of any currency, in spite of any situation, it will still generate profit. Please understand that whatever the situation in the economy, will never be able to live without electric engines, never. And that's why if you think on investing your money somewhere, you'd rather consider such industry forming directions. And electric engine is such industry forming direction, because you need electric engine even to heat your house actually. Without the heat, you cannot to be pumped because the heat pumps the heat into your house, and the electric engine helps to pump the heat into your house. And for sure the last thing the governments or enterprises will save are electric engines, or will cut costs is electric engines. That's why this direction, even in crisis, will be always relevant. From the other point of view, someone will say, what do you mean investment? I'm out of work right now, and especially if you're in the food service industry, there isn't any money right now. So friends, here I'd like to remind you that we have also our partnership program, which we talk about all the time in our webinars, in our Russian speaking and all other webinars. Partnership program is our marketing actually. It's where we spend our money instead of just usual advertising like TV, flyers, and so on. We pay for the result. So we pay to people who are promoting the project, who are attracting funds here in the project, and who are ready to pay for we are ready to pay for your result. If you're not yet familiar with solargroup partnership program, make sure you get acquainted with it. That's why it's really relevant today. Firstly, this work is not tied to any economic situation, actually. You cannot stop partnership program or fire someone. It will always work. Secondly, it's possibility to get referral bonuses in dollars, which is especially relevant for such countries as Russia. And thirdly, it's a possibility to work at home, possibility to work without leaving your apartment, and to work for yourself. Use social networks, use messengers, use various video conferencing services, use a normal advertisement in internet, YouTube, anything you want. Anything to promote the project, do enough motors and earn from such work your referral bonuses, which you can receive using different types of payments, including fiat money too. If you need help to understand how it works, how partnership program works, I suggest you to speak with those people who are actively earning with partnership program in our project. There are more than 5,000 such people already, and this number is constantly growing. You can become one of them, so no crisis will scare you. Moreover, once the project Duinos Motors will receive its necessary funding, Solar Group company will present you with another project, which you can promote while keeping all your partnership network. That's why this business is forever with you. This is the business which no one can take from you, and the business where the result depends on you. If you're working hard and if you will receive your money, and no one will fire you or no one will take something from you. Of course, if you will not be cheating. I think it's also quite understandable. So friends, I think fair and mutually beneficial cooperation, it's what Solar Group promoting. It's really a great chance. So we are all waiting for you in our ranks. You will do useful work, you will promote innovation and earn from it. By the way, how you can reach partners? You can join our chat for partner and ask for recommendation. Maybe you already know some partners of the project. Also, if you don't know how to join chats, contact our support and they will provide you with everything. I will tell you in this way, the crisis is actually a time of opportunity. As someone complains that businesses are closing down and someone loses his job, you need to understand that after some time, even after crisis, another person will appear and restart working where no one else works because, for example, everyone went bankrupt. For someone, crisis is always an opportunity and largest profits are made during the crisis. That's why, friends, don't lose your chance, don't give up no matter what happens. It seems a little bit sad, but in reality, it's not that sad. It's possible that someone may have lost his or her job. I know that today many enterprises are still not working, at least in Russia. Something is still suspended. And it's too early to say how the situation will change, when it will change for the better. But you need to remember that everything passes and this will pass too. And I think it will all be good in 1 year. And we'll look back at this time and remember this hard time. But investments, partnership program will stay there even after 1 year and more. So friends, don't forget about possibilities which you have before your eyes. You always need to take the lowest fruit and not to climb to the top of the tree. Why you need to climb at the top of the tree if you have something very, very close that you need? Maybe this is something that you've just heard on this webinar. So I think it's about time we switch now to your questions. And let's see what we have here. I hope connection is good. Let me check. Oh, great. We have actually received many questions here in the chat. Okay. Okay. Ilya is asking, maybe you can do it in Russian. Actually, Ilya, we're organizing Russian language webinars each Tuesday by my colleague Pavel Filipov. Okay. Thanks, Vladislav, for the comment. Okay, Dejan is asking. And just check if okay, transmission is doing fine. Official engine. Actually, it's correct to say motor. Is this motor for Skyway company? No, Dejan is not Skyway company. It's another project which we're not connected. This is different, totally different project and totally different company. Hello from Indonesia. Hello, Traikustini. Hello from Russia. Okay. Okay, one of the questions from some is June will have internal sell or trading. You mean internal exchange? I think internal exchange will be announced later. And now I don't have any information from the management about this. So just look forward to the updates. The plan is to have some announcement by the summer or in the middle of the summer, hopefully, about the investment phase, about the opening up of internal exchange, but I don't have information right now. Krishna is asking, when will the electric bike ready for us? Actually, it's a great question. Thanks. Electric bike is already ready for you and for any participant, any person. It's actually manufactured by our partner Viktor Aristov and his ASPP Weihai company in China. So you have you can contact him directly. I will just write here his website, ASPP Asia. So you can ask him directly. He will give you all the indications about the price, about the characteristics, about the electric bike. He has electric bike, he has electric scooter. Actually, we just had him in the webinar dedicated to Latin America just a couple of days ago, where he explained all that. So if you're interested, contact the company's support and or contact Mr. Viktor Aristov directly. Okay. Kirish is asking, do you have a tie-up with the Skyway Technologies? Kirish, as I've mentioned, Skyway is totally another company, another project. We don't have any tie-up with this company. We are solargroup here. That's it. Solargroup, and the company in Russia, it's Sovelmash. So two companies, actually, two brands. And the third company, which is patent holder, is ASPP company. Okay, another questions. Ashraf from Kuwait is saying, what is the expected time span to complete and release the IPO in international market? Mr. Ashraf, thanks for the question. Actually, firstly, what is the process? What is the timeline? Yeah. Right now we're in stage number 13. After the stage 20, and it plans that it will be over this year, stage 20. And the construction needs to start this year too. It plans that the construction will start in 2020 and will go up to 2021 till maybe end of 2021. So from 2022, the company will start full-scale operations and can become a joint stock company in, for example, 2022, and after that, maybe from year 2023, 2024, 25, somewhere around that, we will see. It depends on a lot of indicators. The company will be preparing, will get momentum in order to prepare itself, prepare all the activities, all the processes for initial public offering in international market, because it's not just an easy and fast process, as you may know. So it takes time, it takes resources, it takes preparation, and the company needs to operate full scale in order to go to IPO. But I can tell you that before the IPO, the company will already have will be a joint stock company, so you will be able to have your share before that. Virdi? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Also, okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, we also need to see how the process goes. So this timeline can be even prolonged, and of course it will be announced by Dmitry Duyunov and by the management of the company. So I cannot confirm the exact year when to expect this. Yeah. What happens? Francis is asking what happens after the company accomplishes all 20 stages. Yeah, Francis, thanks for the question. Exactly, after the company accomplishes all 20 stages, first it will open up internal exchange even a little bit before the completion of all the 20 stages. Then the company will become joint stock company. So because Sovelmash right now, it's another big discussion about this in order to understand. So Sovelmash company is now a limited liability company in Russia. And so it's divided, it's, let's say, capital is divided by, it has a part of it has management, part of it has a solargroup company, part of it has ASPP company. And after the, when 20 stages will be over, the company will become joint stock company in Russia. So it have, in its capital, it have stock. And this stock will be distributed, half of the stock will be distributed to all investors. And you will become actually a stockholder. So you will have the stock of this new Sovelmash joint stock company. And you can either hold your stock or you can sell it, or you can hold it and get dividends in the future, and or you can wait even more and wait till IPO, and basically you can keep your stock further. Okay. Can we already sell products from our company? John is asking. Yeah, sure. Actually, there was a slide with 4 motors already available for sale, and it's already available for sale from Sovelmash company. Actually, we are expecting maybe in a couple of weeks' time or so that the Sovelmash website will be updated, and it will have these motors presented on the website, so you can order it even online or by email to have to know exactly the price from Russia. And also you can turn to our partner ASPP Weihai in China, and he has not only motors, he has electric scooter, electric bike, and he has even electric car. Right now, this car even has obtained a certificate CE for European Union. So it depends on which country you're in to get information about how to import it. So you can get in touch with the support to know all the details about how to proceed. Kurish is asking how you can you explain how the dividend is paid if I'm holding 200,000 shares of the company? Kurish, it's will be the same as to any stockholder. It doesn't matter how many shares you have. You can have 200,000, you can have 5,000, you can have 100 shares. So Let's imagine that we have certain amount of shares in the company. For example, we have 10 million of shares. I don't know, it's just example. So it means that in the company you will have 0.5% of all the shares. So if you have the profit of certain amount, you multiply your percentage with the amount of profit, and you will have a calculation of how many dividend you will be paid out. Then it depends on where you're located, because there is a tax consideration that, but we will see it later. If it will be withheld, dividend tax will be withheld in Russia, or you will pay it yourself in your country. It depends on the legislation. I cannot comment right now. Internal trading available? Ramza is asking. Actually, internal trade will be available soon. I don't have exact date right now. Hopefully, it will be available in summer or by end of summer. You mean probably internal exchange, so that you can sell your share, or you can buy your share from other partners within the project. And the plan is that the company could even be the party that will buy your own, buy out your own share. Can you please start? Okay, questions. What is expected? I think this question I already answered. Jay is asking, Jai Prakash, tell me blockchain, then when will come? I don't completely understand. What do you mean blockchain? We're not in cryptocurrency, so we don't have blockchain. It's we have just normal payment system. I mean, we use normal payment system. When do you know if Motors shares will be available on international market? I've already applied this. Also, Nabil, thank you. It will be after the company will go through IPO process in the future. Okay, I think that's. Can dividend be paid from profit before an IPO? Magda is asking, can dividends be paid from the profit before the IPO? If you consider that IPO is initial public offering in international market, it depends on the decision of the management board. So the plan is, once the company has its first year of operations, then the decision will be taken. For example, it has a certain amount of profit, and this profit will be distributed in terms of will be distributed fully, or will be distributed partly on dividends. So I think it's possible also that, of course, profit will be distributed to shareholders of the joint stock company even before the IPO on an international market. Okay, thank you, Ashraf. John is asking also for resale, Netherlands. Yes, John, I need to. It depends which product. The motor is already CE certified, so yes, you can resell it. Of course, you can buy, resell it. The important is that you need to follow the guidelines for your country, how to import the product, which documents you need. You need to check yourself locally. And from our part, we will provide all the documents required, certificates and manuals and passports of the product. Sorry, either from Russia or from China. You will have all the package from Russia. It will be in Russian, so probably some documents needs to be translated into local language if you decide to import it into the Netherlands. And if it will be from China, I think it will be in English available. Question from Sam. So we must 20 stages, or can either close? Okay, I think the question is about if we reach $40 million already this year. Can we close 20 stages? Yes, Sam. Thanks for the question. Actually, the announcement was that we reached already this step, $40 million, but including the installments. So right now we have set new milestone is to attract $50 million, including installments, and probably it will be now amount that we already attracted will be announced later. I don't have this information right now, and we hope that these 20 stages will be over this year. Let's just wait and see. I hope this with the situation with the virus is already unforeseen event, so it's we can say it's a force majeure event. So still the plan is to close all the 20 stages this year, but again, I'm not the Dmitry Alexandrovich Duyunov. Maybe he has another announcement. So let's wait till official announcement comes out about when we will reach these 20 stages and when the what will be the timeline. Can we get dividend before IPO? Is this legal way to get dividend? Raj, it's a good question. Actually, it depends what you consider IPO. If you consider IPO as initial public offering in international exchange market, then please understand that it will be like secondary process. First process is to organize the company in form of joint stock company. So it will already have stock. And of course, if you have stock, if a company has stock, it can pay out dividends. But it will be a Russian joint stock company. It will not be a company whose stock is traded on foreign or international stock exchange. This is the difference. So yeah, if the company is it has already stock, it can, after the year of operation, it can pay dividend. Why not? It's not against the law. So Vladislav is also confirming dividends will be paid before IPO. Yes, thank you, Vladislav. Any expectation from which year we will get? So Raj, again, it depends on when we will be ready in terms of full-scale operations. Yes, if full-scale operations will be from 2022, then you can expect, let's say, preliminary that the payout year will be 2023, the next year. One more question. After internal exchange, we can sell our shares to company or person. Yes, Raj, actually you can sell both. You can sell both to other project participant, or you can sell also to company. I mean, of course, you will need to check what price the person will offer to you. For example, if it will be regulated in terms of supply and demand, so you will have some average price. And if the person will be ready to buy using this price, and you will be ready to sell using this price, you will find the common point, and you will use this price to sell it to him. And the company, I don't know, I don't have any information how the price will be calculated. Maybe it will be more than average, maybe it will be less average, but it depends. So it's both is possible. Mugabe is asking, hello everyone from Uganda. Hi, Mugabe. Vladislav is saying internal exchange trading from person to person will be available. Yes. Okay, then let's wait till official announcement from the company about the sale of share from the company, from you to company. Right now it's planned to sell only between persons. What is the total amount of investments are looking for, and when you will stop financial investment and enter the share market? Mr. Kurish, yes, actually, right now the goal is to attract $50 million, including installments. And just the only thing that was announced last couple of weeks that we are waiting for this approval by the government inspection. And if everything is fine, I mean, because we already prepared calculation about the cost of construction, but right now with the situation, we don't know actually, maybe the cost of construction will be increased. So for now it's $50 million, but how it will play out, we'll just can just wait and see. If it's approved, if it's authorized, then it will be $50 million, including also installments. Mr. Razak is asking when the building will start. Actually, that's the moment we are all hoping to, looking forward to. Right now, we are waiting for the government to, for the local authorities to to give a green light and to go ahead with the construction after the examination, because it already takes them from January of this year. So already more than 3 months have passed. So we are waiting with attention. Also, they are suspended their office hours right now. So as soon as it's reopened, we will update on the situation. And I'm hoping very much it will be in the next weeks, actually. And another thing is that probably we can ask the company to install maybe a webcam to, so for all of us to, or at least partners of the project can check online and can can review online what is happening on the construction site, and you will see for yourself, you will check for yourself that it's working, that it's going on. So you have double security. What is the price? What do you expect on the market for shares? Jan, it's a good question, but actually it will depend on market conditions. It will depend how many shares will be issued, and when we close the sale of investment shares, and on the market conditions or the date when the company will be a joint stock company. And right now we don't have any indication. We don't have any, let's say, inputs in order to calculate that. So it's a little bit too early to say exactly that it will be $1 or it will be this price, that price. We don't know yet. So we will see in the future. In any case, right now, the investment share which you are buying is with a good discount. So for sure, any share which you will sell in the future will not have any discount. So it will be times manifold much more than what you are buying it today. So this is without doubt. Okay, Mr. Razak is asking, give us details about Solar Group's marketing plan. Okay, you mean Solar Group's partnership program? These details, actually, if you're registered, it's available in back office. You can open the area for partners and you can find their marketing plan or partnership program. So you can see how much bonus you can receive if you have other partners registering with your invitation link. All these details are available. So please, you can see on the back office. If you don't find, just on the back office, on the bottom right part of the page, you have the question mark. You can click there and you have online support, online chat, and the guys will respond to you where you can find it. Hello from Odisha. We had the event there last year. Yes, personal account. How much investment has the company collected already? We have collected already more than $40 million, but including installments. Yes. So the next goal is to collect $50 million, including installments. So it means that out of $40 million, part we collected already in terms of received amount, and part is still outstanding because the partners are paying by installments. So I don't know how many percentage is already paid and how many remains to be paid, but I know that this 40 million includes also installments to be paid out. Okay. If you don't have any questions, we can also, in any case, any questions you have, please, as we mentioned, you can contact all the support. You can reach support by also our official chat for partners. Ajit is asking when the company is probably come to stock. You mean will be stock will be traded on a stock exchange, right? If this is the case, this company will first needs to close all the financial stages, 20 stages, as we've talked about, and then the company needs to be reorganized. Sovelmash company will become a joint stock company. After that, when it becomes joint stock company, and after the construction will be over, we have to wait and see when it will be over. And after that, in a couple of years' time, or after the first year of full-scale operation of the company, it will be already a joint stock company. Okay. Also, all the partners from India can see in the webinar of 5th of April, where we explained some of these questions already were covered. You can find it in the official WhatsApp and Telegram chat. So some of the questions repeat themselves when the 20 stage will be over. Razak, it's planned to be over in this year, 2020, but we need to see how situation will evolve. So Dmitry Duinov will announce more in details about the exact date when all the stages will be over. So we just need to wait and see. Kurish is asking, do you have any plans to enter crypto with the cash in hand? I don't completely understand your question. Do you mean that we will be using a blockchain technology? I don't have this. Okay, thanks, Mr. Kurish. Right now we are in a real sector of economy, so we're taking care of designing and development of electric motors. So we're not in the financial sector. I mean, at least for the Solargroup company, we are not in. Our project is right now related to electric motors, so we don't develop any blockchain technology right now. But I don't know, maybe in the future we'll have some project dedicated to cryptocurrencies. Right now we all concentrated on the project and helping out the Solargroup company to build its innovative center, to develop its construction bureau. Okay, thanks for the link to the webinar. Okay, I think you can use you can use this contact details, and we can close the webinar. I hope I've replied to most of the questions which you have. Thanks for your attention very much. And I hope this was helpful. Okay. Thank you for your attention. And if you have questions, contact and talk to you. Bye-bye.